Welcome to the AACFB's 2024 Meet the Funder webinar series. My name is Monica Harper. I'm the Executive Director of the AACFB, and I will be your host. Our presenters today are from Global Financial and Leasing Services. Global Financial and Leasing Services is both a funding source member and a silver sponsor of the AACFB, and I'd like to thank them for their support of the association. Before I introduce them, I'd like to go over a few items to make this webinar more enjoyable and informative for everyone. During the presentation, you should see a Q&A box that allows you to ask questions. If you have any questions during the presentation, please submit your questions in the box and they should be answered by the end of the webinar. Please reserve the chat for communication between attendees. The entire webinar should take no more than 30 to 45 minutes. And for those of you who would like to review the webinar at a later date, it will be posted on the 2024 Meet the Funder page of the AACFB website, and it will be emailed out to the AACFB membership. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Global. It's all yours.
All right. Thanks, Monica. I appreciate the opportunity. Hi, I'm Jim Jenks. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Financial and Leasing Services. And with me is Pat Chafee.
I am the broker relationship manager here at Global Financial and Leasing Services. And we're going to present today on doing business with a storied lender.
I want to start off by giving you a background as to how we started. And prior to 2006 and 2009 downturn, the banks were falling all over themselves to provide financing to anybody that would apply. They even went to extreme extent to actually pay people to enter into financing. That was prior to the downturn. After the downturn, when they came through it, banks had returned to more sensible lending, and more of the traditional lending standards were being followed. The consequence of that was small and mid-sized companies were finding it difficult to get equipment financing solutions. So, especially if anybody had legacy issues such as prior bankruptcies and foreclosures, short sales, and tax liens, etc. So consequently, I saw an opportunity to create Global Financial, and we started that in 2009. And so our primary purpose was to provide financing solutions for small and mid-sized businesses that found it difficult to get bank financing, or what would now is referred to as story credits. We base our credit decisions primarily on the potential of the applicant rather than on a credit scoring model. And if we are provided with all the information we request in a timely manner, from credit submission to credit approval, we can complete that in less than 72 hours. But there's our challenge: let's get the information. Our market consists of the 33 million small and mid-sized businesses in the United States that represent all. You go to page 2, Monica, if you can do that. Our target market.
It's there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Our target market includes the 33 million small and mid-sized businesses in the United States, which represents over 90% of all United States businesses. They employ over 61.7 million people, which is 46.4% of all USA private sector employees. 89% of these companies have fewer than 20 employees. It also means that most of our applicants have less than perfect credit. We require that all the principals, which is typically 20% or greater ownership in a business, provide their personal guarantee. Global provides alternative solutions based on a constrained credit environment. We focus our credit analysis on fundamental credit analysis and comprehensive understanding of our lessee's current overall business situation. And we look at the collateral as essential use equipment. In short, everyone has a story. What's theirs is what we're looking for. The industries we serve. Global Financial serves a highly diversified industries, which includes construction, medical, commercial landscaping, oil and gas, manufacturing, printing, recycling, transportation, and other industries. Actually, if it's a new technology, then we're interested in learning more about it. We're not afraid to address it and see if we can't find a way to provide the financing solutions. We look at new and pre-owned equipment. Our target market includes startups, applicants with low or no FICO score, applicants with prior judgments or existing liens, or prior bankruptcy. Our minimum financing opportunity is $25,000 and will go as high as $1 million. Our solution: we provide equipment financing terms from 36 to 48 months. Our equipment financing is structured with a lease, and the lessee does not own the equipment at the end of the lease term. They have the option to purchase it at the end of the lease term for the then fair market value. They have the option to either renew it or purchase it, and if they renew it, we can also offer them a fixed stated renewal amount as an option, or we can cap the fair market value not to exceed 20% of the original equipment cost. But as most of you probably know, it's important that we have an operating lease, so we can't offer them a bargain purchase option. So the lowest value we can cap it at is 20% of the original equipment cost. In either case, we can offer them ways to get comfortable with our solution, even in spite of the fact that they probably can't get another company to provide the financing that they're looking for. We have also ability to do equipment financing as well as financing of titled vehicles. And our titled vehicles are under an equipment finance agreement or EFA. The title passes at the end of the lease term on an EFA, as most of you are probably aware. Our process as a story lender, we're looking beyond the applicant's credit score to find the potential in the applicant. We're trying to assess whether or not this is a business that can succeed, and we need to understand how they approach their business and what's their business plan and what have they done different now than what they've done in the past, which created the problems to the credit. That's what we're trying to dig into, and we're trying to learn, again, that story. Our minimum credit submission consists of a basic 3 months of bank statements, all pages, completed and signed and dated credit application, a copy of the equipment quote or proposal. And for startups or submissions above 75,000, we require a full financial package, which includes the financial statements, tax returns, their personal financial statement, and that type of thing. I think most of you are familiar with. Once we receive your submission, we pull all pertinent credit reports if they're not included in the financing package. If you have those financial credit reports pulled, please send them to us so we don't have to pull them again. Pat will review the submission and prepare the equipment financing proposal. He's going to outline 2 options for the customer. Hopefully the option A and option B gives them the idea. If they want to see a third option, he can provide a third option, and that's what this is all about. So the point here is once we get the customer comfortable with a solution that they find acceptable for them, we want them to sign the proposal and return it to us with all the requested information that was outlined in that proposal. Once that's received, then it moves to the underwriting stage. In the underwriting stage, then our underwriter will review the package and schedule an underwriting call with the applicant along with Pat. In that underwriting call, the underwriter wants to dive into the customer's business plan as well as their business model and their need for this equipment. And they also want to understand how they're going to service the debt or the financing that they're looking for. After the underwriting call, the underwriter will complete the write-up and will present to the credit committee along with Pat. Upon a credit approval, we'll move to the documentation stage. Our documents are electronic, and we use e-signatures. And with that, Pat.
So to dive a little deeper, and Monica, that's all we have for the presentation for the write-up. We're analyzing 3 things whenever we analyze a new submission. One is the collateral that we're looking at financing. The cash flow, can they service this debt? We understand that the new equipment is going to provide more income, but at the same time, if they're not going to start earning money on day one, can they service the debt that we're looking at? And then we're looking at the character. Jim elaborated a little bit about the FICO scores, and we'll even entertain some that are in the 400s, 500s. Well, are they running from the issues that cause their FICO to be so low, or are they addressing them? As long as the people are addressing them and we can get that story as to what happened, whether it be a tax problem, a divorce that's causing things to affect their credit, whatever it may be, we just want that story. Our pricing, we're not inexpensive. We all will admit that. We are credit card rates, basically. We go as low as 18.5 and then up to as high as 30%. When it comes to how quickly we move at the pace of the customer typically. The question is always, how fast can this get done? Well, these people are running a business on a daily basis, and typically they're not worried about getting us financials, getting us bank statements, tax returns, whatever that may be. And so we'll move as fast as the client. There is a lot of gray area at Global Financial Leasing Services. We don't operate in a lot of black and white because we are getting the story behind the customer, because we're working with challenge credits, things like that. There's a lot of gray. And so if you have any questions, reach out to me. Earlier, my email was on there. It's pat@gfrservices.com. Reach out to me if you're a broker interested in having us look at an opportunity. Reach out to me if you're a broker that hasn't signed up with us and would like to. I will then send you a package with the broker application and all of our pricing, and we can review that, go over any questions that you might have. I think, Jim, you have any more to add?
Yeah, we've got, I forget, didn't elaborate on the portal. We have a portal that can be used. We found that more of our brokers prefer to send in their submissions via an email to Pat, as well as to new apps at gfrservices.com, which is where our sales support team will receive the submission. And with Pat being copied on it, they will be able to maximize the turnaround of the submission as quickly as possible. But not everybody wants to use the portal, and we respect that. But we have one that we can set up for you, and it's used sparingly, as it turns out, when we make it available. But those that use it regularly. Those that don't want to use it, don't use it. They use simply email. So we're flexible. Either way, we'll take the opportunities that come in, either through the portal or through email submissions.
Yep, I think that wraps it up on our end, Monica. If there are any questions out there, we'd like to address those now.
Sure. We do have one question, and just as a reminder, if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box right now, and we'll get them answered. Someone wants to know if you finance cannabis.
We do.
Yes, well, so in the cannabis space, we will finance the extraction equipment, the packaging, things like that. What we will not finance is the grow items, the tables, the lighting, things like that. We want equipment that can be used in another industry if possible. And we have to think, when we're looking at the collateral that we're financing, we have to think of, okay, if we have to repossess this, what is going to be our salvage value or forced liquidation value, things like that. And when you're talking about tables and grow tables, things that's just not there. The extraction equipment, packaging, things like that, we will.
Okay. With the required information up front, will that included any fees or advances? If so, will that be returned or if not approved?
So we do take a documentation fee once we get a signed proposal. That is basically we're wanting a commitment from the customer as well. We are dealing with storied credits, and a lot of times we want them to have skin in the game. And so we do take a documentation fee. If it is credit approved, that is deemed as earned. And so we would keep that even if it doesn't fund. The documentation fee, if they are not credit approved, 50% would be returned to the customer. There are some, again, gray areas where it might be fully returned on occasion, but
as on an exception basis.
Yeah, on an exception basis. But that commitment fee we take when we get the signed proposal. I do tell most brokers that once I analyze something, if I get a proposal out on it, I am pretty sure it can get credit approved. I don't like wasting anybody's time and sending out proposals on stuff that I don't even think is going to get approved.
Right. If a broker wanted to get signed up with you, what would be the best route to do that?
Best route would be to email me, pat@gfrservices.com. Just send me a simple email that you're looking to sign up with us, and I will send you a broker package with an application, our pricing and different app packages, things like that.
How do you look at startups as to underwriting and approving them since there's no revenue?
We look at the business plan. We look up kind of a history. Does that applicant have in the industry? And we're looking at projections, and we're going to evaluate the equipment, and we're going to evaluate just basically how sound is this business plan and the experience behind the applicant to make this work. And then anything else that we can figure out that's going to aid in the success of this company, identify what that might be and structure it accordingly.
Okay. How much is the documentation fee?
Well, the minimum documentation fee is $500, and that can vary depending on complexity of the opportunity and whether or not we need to secure it with real estate, that type of thing. So that could vary, but typically it's $500.
Are commissions paid after approval or after funding? What's the drill there?
Commissions are paid at final funding. After final funding is done, commissions are paid.
Okay. Do you finance trucks for first-time owner operators?
On a box truck, yes, we would. On a long haul vehicle, an over the road sleeper truck, we're going to require that they have a minimum of 2 operating their fleet already at this time. But as a box truck, if they're a startup and they're looking for local deliveries, things like that, we would.
Yeah, the issue at hand for 18-wheelers that are doing cross-country transportation, the problem with them, if they only have 1 truck, is that if it breaks down in the mountains somewhere, and that's the only truck they have, well, they're pretty much toast. And so we're looking at somebody that has the capability to actually run their business with more than 1 truck, so they are able to service a broken down truck and have other solutions available to them to service their business.
Right. Well, I'm not seeing any other. Oh, here's another question. Hang on. What if the box truck is being used for over the road?
Well, a box truck is going to stay local. When I say over the road, I mean longer haul going interstate. A box truck is going to be used mostly for local deliveries. If we find out that they're trying to use a box truck and go from, say LA to Dallas, that's just not realistic. And so we wouldn't want to do that. But a box truck, for the most part, from what we found, is staying for local deliveries. It might cross state lines a little bit here and there, maybe, California into Las Vegas or something like that, but it's not long haul trucking.
Yeah, tri-state area, for instance, would be very acceptable. But again, as Pat said, if someone's going to use a box truck to go from LA to New York, that's not realistic.
What is the approximate commission rate?
So our commissions range from 15 points down to 6, depending on the size of the deal.
Well, even smaller if you negotiate, if
Yeah.
you're trying to win the deal,
Yeah.
and the customer's obviously fighting for a lower payment. The result could be simply we got to reduce the commissions to make it work for the applicant who's interested in a structure but wants a lower payment. So the way to compromise on that is obviously lower the commissions paid. It could be that.
Yeah.
That's one option.
Full commissions, if I send out a proposal and I haven't heard from the broker that they want lower than our full commissions, then full commissions would be included. And those would all be on the pricing sheets that I would send out in a broker package.
Right. All right. Now I don't see any more. Somebody has speak now or hold your peace if you have questions. But obviously, I'm sure that if they thought of something later, they could contact you. And
well, that's the important thing is we'd love to have anybody who's interested in more information to please reach out to Pat at gfrservices.com. You can ask more questions, request a broker package. In our broker program, what we're going to do is we receive a request, we'll then submit return to the broker the credit application, the broker application, and the broker package, and the broker needs to complete that information, return it to Pat, and then we'll arrange for a broker onboarding call, which will include myself and Pat, that talk with the broker, basically just to get to understand them, their experience in the industry, and what their model is all about. And so that's our basic broker onboarding program. And then once we have that broker call, we'll send the broker agreement for their signature and return to us.
Sounds great. Well, since there's no more questions, I'll wrap things up. I want to say a big thanks to all our participants, and especially our valued funding source member and silver sponsor, Global Financial Leasing Services. Thanks for a great job, guys. We invite everyone to meet with Global in person at the Commercial Financing Expo coming up this September in New Orleans. And thanks again. Have a great day.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you.
All the best. Okay. Bye-bye.